That's how we bonded over action movies.
Well, you've been talking about this guy for years. I mean, he turned you into the marksman that you are.
Yeah.
You can now.
He's really good.
Andy is really good. I know. He's really good. No.
Not when in the presence of a
You build weapons,
master.
you take weapons apart. I mean, I never seen anything like it.
Well, honestly, it's very important to have the knowledge and the training of firearms, especially if you're in the entertainment industry, because I feel like personally and professionally,
good point.
You know, I'm not going to call anybody out specifically, but I feel like a lot of tragic accidents on movie sets that involve firearms could have potentially been avoided if all the individuals involved had the proper training.
For sure. 100%.
And speaking of that whole thing, that was them on the most low-budget possible scenario.
Are you talking about the Rust film?
Yeah, because I was in England on John Wick 4 when that happened.
Yeah.
And it made everything freeze. And Hollywood's, there's only been 3 accidents in history of 100 years of films with guns.
It's the Brandon Lee one, right?
3. Brandon Lee, you know who replaced him in that scene was Chad Stahelski, the director.
Wow.
He was a stunt man. They had to CG his face to do the rest of the movie.
Oh my gosh, that was tragic. What was the Brandon Lee thing when Bruce Lee's son died?
This is how it
there was
happened.
something in there, right?
This is how it happened.
Okay.
All the accidents that have happened have been revolvers. Okay.
Interesting.
It won't really happen with all the semi-automatic guns. But Hollywood wiped the floor. It's all toy guns now. It's all just running around with a toy gun. And the problem with that, what we're seeing in the last year or so, is that the stunt people can't react to nothing. Back to Brandon Lee. The movie was super low budget. Accidents everywhere. The same thing on Rust. All these people quitting, drama, fights, misery, craziness, just the whole thing. Bad producers, all this misery. With the Brandon Lee thing, it's a .44 Magnum. And this is a weird thing. I know the whole story because I used to do extra work back in the early 90s, like a dumbass. It's just fun.
No way.
So
Dude.
I worked on this dumb movie. I'm in what is it? Wayne's World 2.
No, you're not.
Like you were talking earlier about like having long hair, looking good.
In the 90s.
I was like, look good. I'm not
God,
kidding.
that's awesome.
I'm not kidding, man. I'm not kidding.
I'm not kidding,
So
man.
that aside, I'm in this scene. It's the whole scene when Wayne walks in there and and all this stuff with and it's Heather Locklear. And I'm saying,
I remember that scene.
and then and then Christopher Walken walks in and the whole thing. So I was on there for a couple of days at Paramount. It was fun. So that aside, the Brandon Lee thing is what happened. So they don't have any dummy rounds. So they have a .44 Magnum. And they got to have, like, when you aim a revolver at the camera, there's cylinder holes.
Right.
You see daylight through the 4 holes unless you put a dummy round. A dummy round is basically no powder in there and a dead primer or no primer at all and a bullet. So it just doesn't. It's like this coffee cup. It does nothing. They didn't have any. So they had like on the set, they had a pawn shop, a real pawn shop, a fake pawn shop, whatever. They found real .44 Magnums. They go make their own dummies. They get pliers, pull the bullet out, dump the powder out, and they ended up firing off the primers. And they tried to shove the bullets back in. So when the stand-in is doing his thing, aiming the gun for a week before it happens, one of the primers didn't fire, and he goes pops. Without powder, it's just enough power to drive the bullet into the barrel. You hear a pop. It's a long day. What was that doing? I don't know. They throw the gun in the van. So it's sitting in the van for a week. The scene comes. So I'm on set of this thing called Double Dragon. All right, it's got the Terminator 2 guy in it. The T-1000.
Yes.
It's got Melissa Milano.
I remember this.
Fox, right? So they come to all the extras. I'm a stupid extra $100 a day. They go, you look enough like Vince Cline. Vince Cline's the bad guy in Point Break. That's like, like, I'm war child. I'm on the beach. I'm shredded. I don't need to work out. I got tats. I'm fucking shredded. So he's the one trying to drive Keanu's face into the lawnmower. He's super nice, sitting there. With, every movie, you hang out, you do nothing. You wait.
Oh, of course.
And we're just talking about. He's like, he's all bummed out. I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, I was up for the lead bad guy on The Crow. And I missed it because I don't consider myself a good enough actor. I think I got the part. If I would have got the part, Brandon Lee would be alive today because I would not have shot right at him with the gun. I would have shot past him. I wouldn't have aimed right at him with a non-going dumbass did. Right. Like, so what happened? He goes, well, he comes in the scene. He's got groceries. He's holding the groceries. He's setting off his own squibs, milk and blood squibs. He comes in, and the actor aims right at him. So now they dump out the dummy rounds. One of them is missing a bullet. The bullet's in the barrel. Now they put blanks in the cylinder. Blanks are all powder and no bullet. Now you have the ingredients for the same thing as a live round. Bullet is waiting in the barrel. The blanks are in the cylinder. The guy fires. Boom. The first one goes off, hits the bullet, connects it, and drives it out, and hits Brandon. Hits him in the spine, goes through his body. He's laying there with all the fake blood, real blood. They're like, that looks so good. Wow, so realistic. They can get up, stop messing around, Brandon. And he killed him.
Wow.
44 Magnum.
Yeah, it's a big bullet.
The other one was Cover Up, 1986. That was John Eric Hexum on the show Cover Up. So they didn't give him any knowledge back then. He takes this gun with 44 Magnum blanks, no bullet in the barrel, nothing.
44
He's like,
again.
hey, and he hand him the gun, don't tell him anything. And he puts it to his head, look, guys, this is cool. Boom. And he fires the 44 Magnum blank. The blanks back then were way more powerful than they are today. Now they're just barely enough for a flame. So, boom, and it turns his skull into a bullet, went into his brain and killed him.
Fragmented his skull.
So there's been three. There's been three since then. There's been three total since '86, and total in 100 years of Hollywood. There's around 50 people killed in stunts at least.
Right.
We're not gonna CG all the car chases.
Right.
We're not gonna CG all the motorcycle stunts. We're gonna CG all the. They do a lot.
Where's that category at the Academy
you know
Awards?
what?
Yeah.
You're right.
So there's like my inside stories on all that. But right now the movies are looking terrible. Like when you don't have a real gun, it moves like it's plastic.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't know how to shoot.
Load it right. It doesn't work. There's no. It's just a mess.
Even more of a reason.
And they're laying in all that in post, CGI, all
the muzzle flash and
Yeah.
stuff, but even more
Yeah.
reason now for actors and performers to have training so that they can compensate and actually give a performance now while they have to shoot, because otherwise it's
That
not
could be the
gonna look
last
real.
line of defense if they know guns. What's going on?
Exactly.
You know, you're right, because that was what was so shocking when I heard the news on the set of Rust, and especially having an actor as seasoned as Alec Baldwin. I thought it definitely wouldn't have been him, because in my experience, I've always had if there's a gun on set, it's always brought over to me, held like this. Look at this barrel. Look
First AD announces.
flashlight through it. See,
Yeah.
there's
They
nothing.
shoot all six-
Cold
Well,
gun, and then
they felt
just in
like-
case fire it all the way. Then you hand it to the actor, and then you're right. You never, unless there's no reason.
Even
you
that's
can be
making
just
me
off
uncomfortable.
there. Sorry, if you're visually looking
Be
at
careful,
me
Taran will
right
kill
now.
you if
I
you
know.
point your
You're visually
hand
looking at me right now.
instinctual.
I'm acting as if I'm pointing a gun
Look,
at
there
Andy,
should never
but it's
be
just
any
off.
the thing is, there should be never any live ammo anywhere near a movie set.
Ever.
Right.
It's like,
Ever.
hey, want to go to my refrigerator on the right? I've got pneumonia. I've got my milk, and I've got
Yes.
toxic death poison.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
right,
it looks like my
right,
chocolate.
Right.
Just I put it to
right.
the right, and I put a little.
No.
And when the armorers or whatever are bringing live rounds to shoot
Yeah.
during the
What
training.
was that?
That's why, like, we do all the live fire at my place in training. If I go to a movie set, it's all blank guns. The end.
Right.
No one's bringing live ammo to a movie set unless they're a
Right.
lunatic, and that's what happens.
Exactly
They're
right.
bringing live ammo to
Gotcha.
go shooting on the side and come back. It's just
Recipe for
ridiculous.
disaster.
And now
It's
now
insane.
all of us are paying for it in the industry.
Right.
They've wiped out the guns. Look like crap. They're toy guns. You can tell by the front. They can't do reloads. It's just in movies. Look at Heat.
I was going to say, what are your top firefights from movies outside of the John Wick? Like, what are the top three outside of John Wick franchise?
Heat is up there.
Yeah.
The Getaway with Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Not the Getaway with Alec
I
Baldwin.
was going to say that No, not that one. That was a terrible remake.
A Matrix has that awesome scene with the cement flying and the music is raging.
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Cool.
Unbelievable.
In the,
Chunks of
oh, dude,
cement.
when he hides behind the
Unbelievable.
post.
But back to Heat, like, Michael Mann knows shooting. Michael Mann shot at the Southwest Pistol League, where I started my whole career back 30-something years ago. He shot there with Jim Zubiani. Jim Zubiani was a grand master, a masterclass shooter. He's on my cup twice. I'm on there like 50 times. But he was, he knew,
Yep.
He's on there twice. Amazing. I'm on there 50. But anyway. Okay.
I'm being a total jerk.
No, that's
but
good.
I got to meet him, and it was an honor because he is in Miami Vice. He's in the first episode. There's a famous scene. I've
In the
made
pilot?
In
Or
the
in
very
the-
pilot episode when
Okay.
they changed out the captains because they changed
Yeah.
out to they had the guy from Barney Miller.
Right. Before they brought
killed
in
him.
Edward James Olmos.
Or they weren't getting along, whatever, and they killed him. My guy killed him. My shooter friend, one of my mentors. That evilness with Castillo made that show good. It was just like,
dude.
hey, what's up, guys?
No,
hey,
no,
how's
no.
your day going?
No, it was Crockett, Tubbs.
Yeah.
Get in here.
And his acne scars and his
Dude,
misery and
dude.
his dumb
Yeah.
revolver
You know, my
and his
dream-
Bushido background.
My dream is to, I think it was so ahead of its time, Miami Vice, not to digress on Miami Vice, I'm a big Miami Vice fan.
Oh, I loved it.
I was too young when it was on, but I watched it back when I was older. I
and
saw
everybody's on there. Liam Neeson,
Dude,
Julia
Bruce
Roberts,
Willis.
Bruce Willis.
everybody.
Everybody.
Stanley
Got
Tucci.
their start.
Yeah.
Everybody was on that
Everybody's
show.
on
I mean,
there.
dude, it
But
was
that show was almost like a movie like the shows nowadays can't compare. The soundtracks, the way
I
it was
will-
shot,
if
it was like a
anybody is-
movie.
Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Brotherly Love Podcast.
For full episodes, go to the Brotherly Love Pod's YouTube channel, link in the description.
And for exclusive weekly bonus content, join our Patreon right now.
That's right, there's a link in the description for that too. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thanks.